Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. I am Pseudo, and we have some fantastic updates for the new expansion for Guild Wars 2, or at least some teasers, so let's run through it real quick. This is legitimately one of my favorite posts. I love to get posts like this from Josh, and who is the game director, and let's just dive right into this. So there's some cool stuff in this, a couple teasers at the end that I'm sure you've seen before, but some really good stuff that not only you should be psyched about, but I'm also psyched about for the future of the game. We've talked about a lot on this channel. So, hey Guild Wars 2 community, the final content update for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds now live. We've officially wrapped up our 5th expansion. It is second built under the annual release model we introduced in early 2023. Wow, I'm old. Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds tested how well we tell our stories, evolve our systems, deliver meaningful updates on a faster, more consistent schedule. True, albeit with a little bit lacking. Some things landed, others not as much. Just like we did after Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, we've been listening to your feedback and acting on it. In this blog, we'll share those lessons, how those lessons are shaping up to our next expansion, and the changes you can expect to see. This will give a helpful context as we unveil our next expansion next week. Nice little picture of the coziest war claw ever. Charting Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds legacy. Over the past 9 months, Guild Wars 2, this is a lot of fluff. Janthir Wilds brought a wide range of new experiences to Tyria. It's worth it, I promise. Across 19 story chapters and 4 new open world maps, the narrative explored the aftermath of the Elder Dragon era through a more grounded and political lens. Everybody's favorite, politics. Your choices helped, although the politics scene was very funny. Your choices helped shape the balance of power in a world learning to live without that existential threat that uncovered ancient secrets best left buried, with a new existential threat and then another one out of left field, but hey, they weren't bad. We brought spears to land combat, which was dope, our first new terrestrial weapon type since the game's launch, along with the new set of relics that deepened build crafting and expanded playstyle and customization, and ruined game balance for literally 2 years with Relic of Rivers and then Relic of Stormsinger. But they fixed it eventually. Our endgame offerings, well actually that's a little bit of a foreshadowing thing. May get into that a little bit, wink wink, nudge nudge. Our endgame offerings grew as well. You took on the game's first new raid in over 5 years. Yes, we did, complete with challenge and legendary challenge modes. Some of you did that. We're very proud of you, Snowcrows. We also introduced a new convergence encounter and fractal dungeon with its own challenge mode, adding more variety and goals for PvE focused players. Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds also marks the arrival of homesteads, a major feature that brought player housing to the game that was paired with a rework of the decoration system, updates to Warclaw mount, 2 new legendaries, tons of new armor and weapon sets, which is very true. They, something we really didn't get during Path of Fire was new armor, or Heart of Thorns, sorry, so credit where it's due, they did deliver on that. And the Wizard's Vault refreshes along with a list of quality of life updates. In PvP, we built something new with your help. Well, almost. The push game mode began as a prototype and evolved through multiple public betas shaped directly by player feedback. Co-developing a competitive mode in the live environment is rare, and it's honestly been pretty cool from my perspective, hopefully as well as theirs, and we're proud of what it represents. The final version launches later this summer. Dope. Got a final sort of date, and we hope it sets a precedent for future community-driven efforts. Janthir Wilds delivered a lot in a short amount of time. The momentum was only possible because of your passion, creativity, and honest feedback and your purchase dollars, which, to be fair, it was cheaper, but a lot of people felt it was lacking, and that's where we get into this. Finding the right rhythm. Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds launched in August of last year, followed by 3 quarterly updates. After the first of those updates arrived in November 2024, we heard consistent feedback from the community. The additional story content felt too short, and the lack of new open world new open world map made the update feel noticeably light. Similar reactions to story scope followed the second and third releases, signaling that the pacing and structure of these releases could better align with your expectations. For our next expansion, here we go. We're refining that structure to give each update, ooh, the bass dropped right then too, or the beat dropped, give each update more depth and impact. The first quarterly release after the expansion's launch. So this is not the initial launch like some people I've seen think it is. The next quarterly release after the expansion's launch, basically the second iteration of this expansion, will not include new story or map content. I guess they're just done with the game then, bye. Instead, it will focus on updates to core systems and long-standing features. This approach gives us space to revisit foundational elements of the game, improvements that support long-term health of Guild Wars 2, and reflect the design philosophy outlined in Build Smarter, Not Bigger section below. This is something I have been asking for and vets have been asking for forever. The people who play this game is fantastic. Everyone's coping with Guild Wars 3. And if you are, I support that. Go have fun. Smoke that copium. But Guild Wars, there's no reason for them to cut off the leg of Guild Wars 2 that they're standing on right now. There's absolutely none. What they need is a bug fix patch. And that, to me, in my Bladesworn bug-ridden existence, smells of a bug fix patch. And I love that they're sliding it in right now. Maybe they'll get a big balance update with that. Who knows? But I'm so down for just a gigantic bug fix patch. Oh my gosh. By focusing on story and map development in the second and third quarterly updates, we're able to make those releases more robust and satisfying. Each will introduce a larger, more content-rich map and a long, more fully developed story than what players saw in the equivalent Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds updates. And I can hear you typing. Shouldn't companies just fix the bugs anyway? Yes, they should. It's not always possible, especially in MMO land. I mean, look at all the MMOs that are hemorrhaging players right now, right? Because they're trying to crank down on sub fees. Where basically ANET's saying, hey, we're doing another light expansion, but this time with elite spec spoilers. And they're looking into fixing a lot of the bugs, which is good. Hopefully. While the total amount of story content across the expansion is increasing modestly, the bigger benefit... Sorry, let me reread that because I butchered it. While the total amount of story content across this expansion is increasing modestly, the bigger benefit is how much more meaningful each individual release will feel, along with the scope improvements to the open world maps. This approach allows for more complete and satisfying story arcs, and it results in net increase in total content delivered over the course of the next expansion. Dope. Building smarter, not bigger. I'm trying to not cover this with my stupid face this time. Sorry about that. One of our biggest priorities right now, and likely for years to come, is years to come. I want to point that out as well for everyone who thinks Guild Wars 3 is coming out next month, is untangling years of accumulated system complexity. And probably different code by different people. That means streamlining overlapping features, reducing technical debt, which is basically bugs that you just don't have time to fix, and reinforcing what makes Guild Wars 2 shine. This complexity doesn't just slow us down behind the scenes, it also makes onboarding harder for new and returning players, and probably developers, even in areas designed for seasonal adventures like endgame PvE. Over the past 2 expansions, we shifted away from stacking new systems on top of the old ones. Instead, we're focusing on sustainable upgrades to the game's foundation. Features like Wizard's Vault didn't just offer something new, they replaced daily achievements and login rewards with a streamlined, modern alternative, basically a paid tier of a battle pass without having to pay for it. Honestly, I keep going back to this. I literally think as a vet player that Wizard's Vault overhaul was worth $25 by itself. I understand they shouldn't have done that, and I'm glad they had something else Soto attached to that, but I would have paid $25 just for that. Weapons Master Training and Relics were built to expand existing build systems, which they kind of did. Plus 1 minus 2 there. Homesteads and the decoration system overhaul, again, just my opinion. Homesteads and the decoration system overhaul also improved guild halls, sort of. A lot of the decorations are still missing, but that's good. We also updated core mount systems during both expansions, with refinements to the new Skyscale, Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, and improvements to the work law in Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds. Sorry, roofers are banging on my house. Each change was designed to strengthen features you already use and love. Support for newly introduced features doesn't end at launch. Thank goodness. Since the Homesteads feature debuted, we've continued to expand and refine our systems with the new decorations and quality of life improvements, including an increase to the overall decoration cap. Please put one in the Guild Hall Arena net. In the final Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds release, there were actually a lot of quality of life changes in that release that people don't like to focus on because everyone loves to be negative. A lot of really good stuff in there. Our upcoming July 15th release, we're doubling the decoration limit from 200 to 400 in Homesteads. This directly addresses one of the most common requests we've heard from you. You can also expect to see the continued support for the Homesteads feature in our next expansion as we build on this foundation. Wonder if you get a new Homestead option in the next expansion. Would make sense, right? These kinds of... Please do this for guild halls. I know you won't, and also fix the PvP balance, but maybe, please, thank you. These kinds of changes... PvP balance in the guild hall doesn't work. These kinds of changes may not always grab headlines, but they make the game easier to understand, easier to maintain, and more enjoyable to play. So, this is what I always say on my streams, right, chat? For the of you out there who are regulars on my stream, you'll know that I say bug fix patches don't sell expansions. Fixing old weapons doesn't sell expansions as much as putting a new weapon in that's broken AF. That's what he's saying here. Just as importantly, they reflect many of what many of you have asked us to do, focus less on introducing entirely new systems and more on refining and modernizing what we already have. Good, thank you. That's a direction we believe in and one we're proud to continue as we build the next chapter of Guild Wars 2. I hope they can execute on this, because this is effectively the first bug fix iteration they've done. New tricks for every trade. Over the past 2 expansions, this is the meaty stuff. They should put this at the beginning because people probably stopped reading. New tricks for every trade. Over the past 2 expansions, we've expanded our options for combat by giving you more tools to customize builds and play your way, except if you're a Bladesworn. Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure introduced new weapon proficiencies for every profession, yes it did, and separated relics from runes to deepen build crafting, which was awesome. The addition of Weapons Master Training was also a major step forward in allowing players to freely mix and match Elite Specialization weapons as across builds and completely ruin PvP balance for probably 4 years and forever. I actually really don't like that they did that, but I understand if you're an NG or an LA player out there, you got a lot out of it. Warriors, Thieves, not so much. And the addition of Land Spears, Thieves kinda got. And the addition of Land Spears offered a new weapon for every profession to use. With our next expansion, we're taking the next step. Elite Specializations are making a return. This time, designed to work together with the flexible build crafting system we've been refining over the past few years and hopefully not shackled to a boon like quickness or alacrity. However, that's not in there, but I really hope none of them do it. However, these new specializations won't come with the dedicated weapons. Instead, each one introduces unique profession mechanics, a new trait line, utility skills, an elite skill, a healing skill, and distinct playstyles without locking you into specific weapon or equipment loadout. These new specializations are designed to feel fresh, fun, and unique to Guild Wars 2, while building on the systems you already know and love. We'll have much more to share soon. And by soon, he actually means very soon. Challenging the challengers. The launch of Balrior Raid wasn't just a development milestone for us with both Legendary and Challenge modes, it was a long-awaited return for players eager to take on high-end group content. It marked a turning point in our ongoing effort to revitalize endgame PvE. Over the past few years, we've focused on delivering meaningful, replayable encounters across both raids and strike missions. It's interesting that strike missions is capitalized and raids is not. We returned to our encounter design roots with Kinfall, a new fractal designed in direct response to player feedback, which was actually very good. With Kinfall, we stepped back from the raid-like complexity of recent fractals and focused instead on creating a streamlined, repeatable experience that captures the feel of early favorites. And unlike Kanoxai, it wasn't just a reused strike mission. The challenge mode arrived a few weeks later, offering both accessibility and satisfying difficulty. And honestly, the reception has been largely positive, so I'm glad whoever's designed that is probably getting a second crack at it. Looking ahead, we'll continue to expand endgame content, including new encounters complete with challenge and legendary modes. Heyo! But just as important as adding more is making the content better and more approachable and more rewarding to return to. In the first quarterly release of our... I wonder if the way they'll make them more approachable is just let the balance creep go into the sun, right? But we'll see. Power creep is getting wild in this game. In the first quarterly release of our next expansion, that means unifying raids and strike missions to a more consistent structure, improving onboarding for new players, reworking parts of the UI, streamlining rewards, and investing in systems that help group content feel easier to step into and more meaningful to stick with. Finally, what I've always dreamed of, strike raids. We want Guild Wars 2's endgame to be something anyone can grow into, whether you're joining your first organized group or aiming to master every challenge we throw your way. And then there's a very light timeline, but expansion announcement in July. That's our first little teaser. Ooh, that's spoilers. What comes next? Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds helped us learn where to push harder, where to simplify, and how to better listen to the needs of our players. Your feedback didn't just resonate with us, it reshaped how we're thinking about the game and how we're building what's coming next. Mark your calendar. Get your first look at the next expansion on July 15th. 1 week, chat! Thanks again for your passion, your support, and your belief in this world. Hey, you're welcome, Josh, and in the people who bring it to life. See you next week. We're never fixing Bladesworn. Josh Davis, game director. P.S. Thanks for reading this. Here's another teaser for your troubles. Josh, eternally a grouch. But hey, we got Dwayne Johnson and what looks like a praying mantis ritualist. So I guess warriors getting paragon and necromancers getting ritualist. But that's kind of cool directions for them. I just hope paragon isn't only power melee again, or warriors and only power melee DPS again. It's got some support or maybe even some Condi in there. But yeah, this is dope. Little quick news run through. Let me know what you thought. I'm down to discuss any of this in the comments. I try to respond to everything. I personally, my 3 cents on this, just to wrap up, I'm more on board for a bug fix patch than just about anything else in this game, especially coping really hard here if they finally fix my class. But even that aside, I'm super down for a bug fix patch, because Lord knows this game has a ton of stuff on the back burner that's just forever not a priority. And I think cleaning up the game, especially when it's still doing really well compared to other MMOs, which are hemorrhaging players in 2025, would be great for the longevity of it. I'm sorry Guild Wars 3 is probably not coming out for years. I'm sorry I was right again, both about Elite Specializations and about Guild Wars 3. But I could be wrong about both. Stay tuned for the channel and call me a big fat idiot when I am. Anyway, I'm Pseudo. We'll be back Monday, Wednesday, sometimes Friday at 9 Eastern for more streams, build crafting, theory crafting, and cheers! I hope you enjoyed reading this and hanging out. Let me know what you thought. I'll see you in Tyria. Peace out.